This video is brought to you by the Team Leica review books. More about those later.
What's the difference between bring and take and how do you use them properly? That's what we're going to talk about today.
Alright, so welcome sa discussion natin on bring or take. It's one of the things na hindi natin napapansin pagdating sa mga questions, lalo sa mga exams, and that's the reason why I'm teaching this sa inyo. In many cases, people interchange it. Ibig sabihin, ginagamit nila yung bring kung kailan dapat take and yung take kung kailan siya bring. So, kailangan talaga maging mas mindful tayo dito kasi kung tutuusin, may mga cases na parang tunog pa rin tama pero yun pala mali pala siya. Okay? Now, ano ba ang difference nitong bring tsaka take? It all depends on the direction. Now, if you've seen yung aking video on come or go, and if you haven't yet, click na lang dito sa taas, okay? Para makakatch up kayo. The rules are kind of the same. It's all about direction. Kung saan papunta yung isang bagay, or kung paalis pa siya, palayo kung kanino. Okay? So, yun yung magiging focus natin ngayon. Let's start with the word bring. Okay? Now, when we're talking about yung bring, usually sa conversation form yan. Okay? So, laging merong speaker at merong listener. Now, yung third na character dun sa sitwasyon would be kung ano yung dadala nila. Okay? Now, when do you use it? You use it kung ang movement ay papunta or towards the speaker. Okay? Ibig sabihin, yung isang bagay na yon, whatever that is, na dadalhin, okay, ay dadalhin mula sa listener papunta dun sa speaker. Okay? So, ang direction has to be like that. Kung papunta sa speaker, you use the word bring. Now, again, bakit naguguluhan ng mga Pilipino dito? Kasi sa atin, dadalhin lang lagi. Dalhin mo to doon. Dalhin mo yan dito. Dalhin lang. Hindi magkaiba. Okay? So, sa atin, ang bring at saka take, hindi tayo masyadong aware na magkaiba pala sila. So, kailan gagamitin ang bring if the movement is towards the speaker? So, for example, sabi dito, could you please blank the puppy home to me? Okay? So, you have to imagine, nasan ba yung puppy? Yung puppy, wala, pero inuutusan mo yung listener na dalin yung puppy sa'yo. So, kung dadalhin papunta sa'yo, sa iyong direction, this should be bring. Could you please bring the puppy home to me? Okay, so again, kapag ang isang bagay ay papunta sa speaker, okay, you use the word bring. Now, when do you use take? You use the word take if ang movement naman ng speaker at listener ay iba, okay? You use it if the movement is away from the speaker, okay? So, pwedeng, kunyari, sabihin, yung listener, okay, nasa kanya yung isang bagay at dadalhin ilalayo dun sa speaker. For example, don't blank my car with you. Okay? Now, hindi pwede bring kasi yung car, dadalhin nung listener, not necessarily papunta sa speaker. So, dadalhin daw yung kotse, palayo. So, in that case, dapat ito ay take. Don't take my car with you. Again, kasi ang direction is palabas or palayo sa speaker. Another way na paggamit niya ito is if the speaker, okay, ay dadalhin papunta sa ibang lugar. So, galing na sa speaker mismo. Okay? So, starting from there, kung isang bagay ay mula doon ilalayo, for example, please take these dirty clothes to the laundry room. Kasi, nasa kanya ngayon yung mga damit, pero pinapalayo niya sa kanya. So, again, it's all about direction. So, pag papunta sa akin, na akong nagsasalita, okay, parang come, ang gagamitin ko is bring. Kung galing sa akin or galing sa iyo, pero ang direction altogether ay palayo sa akin, that would be take. Okay, so kung palayo sa speaker, take, papunta sa kanya, bring. Now, another way to remember it are yung keywords natin. So, for bring, okay, if you see the preposition to, okay, bring it to me, or bring it here, you use bring. Kasi nga, again, itong words na to, na magsabing to at here, ang direction niyan, ang clue niyan, dinadala yan papunta doon sa speaker. Kung take naman ang gagamitin, you have your keywords na away, take it away, okay, take it away, take this away, take those away from me, palayo ang direction ng away. So, ibig sabihin, ang gagamitin mo ay take. At kung ang ginagamit din ay there. Kasi nga, bring it here, take this there. Take it there. So, here, papunta. take palabas, kasi ang here papunta, ang there palayo. Okay? So again, just additional na keywords for you guys to better remember it. Now, of course, I don't want you to end this lesson na wala kayong quick quiz. So, meron tayong 5 questions dito and I hope maging helpful sa inyo. Okay? I'm going to give you 3 minutes for this exercise so you can really think and imagine the situation. Again, always imagine na totoo yung nangyayari and you have to imagine kung ano talaga yung direction ng sentence na yon. Okay? Your timer starts now. Alright, let's see how you did. Okay, isa-isahin natin siya. Number 1, when you come by this afternoon, make sure to blank some snacks, okay? So, sabi, when you come by. So, meron tayong mga words dito na clue. We have yung come. Kasi kung come, sabi natin, ibig sabihin, papunta dun sa direction ng speaker. Sabi, make sure to blank some snacks. So, ibig sabihin yung kausap niya, pag pumunta ka dito sa hapon, magdala ka ng snacks. So, papunta dun sa speaker. So, this has to be bring. Next, sabi, number 2, Sean, don't forget to blank this umbrella to work today. It looks like it's going to rain soon. So, kausap niya si Sean, tapos ang sabi niya, wag mong kalimutan na magdala ng payong to work today. Now, tanong, kung ako yung nagsasabi nito, sinabi ko, wag mong kakalimutan magdala ng payong sa trabaho. Si Sean ba papunta sa akin o hindi? Now, ang idea would be, ito yung speaker, ito si Sean, okay? Tapos kukunin niya yung payong at dadalhin niya sa work. So again, the direction would be palayo dun sa speaker. So in this case, ito ay take. Kasi hindi naman papunta sa speaker yung payong. Okay? Now, I keep my promises. I asked Bill to blank the camera equipment here. So again, sabi niya, si Bill daw, sinabihan niya na dalhin yung camera equipment. Saan? Here. Ibig sabihin, si Bill, dinala yung camera equipment papunta sa kung nasaan yung speaker. Okay? So, ibig sabihin dahil ang direction ay towards the speaker, this should be bring. I asked Bill to bring the camera equipment here. Next, sabi, would you please blank me to the hospital? It's an emergency. Okay? So, again, kung ito yung speaker, saan siya dadalhin? Dadalhin siya sa hospital. Okay? So, yun yung clue natin dahil yun ay palayo sa current na location of speaker. The answer would be take. Take me to the hospital. Okay? Now, kung siya yung nurse na nagsasalita, bring the patient to the hospital. Okay? Bring the patient to me. Kasi yung nurse ang nagsasalita. Pero ang pinag-uusapan din natin dito, yung speaker, siya ay papunta sa hospital. So, ang direction again is still palayo sa current yung location. So, the answer is take. Number 5. My mom always says, when you leave the house, make sure that you blank enough money with you. So, again, ito ang speaker. Okay? May sabi daw ng nanay niya, anong gagawin ninyo? You have to blank enough money with you. So, yung speaker, aalis, okay, palabas, at magdadala siya ng pera. Hindi siya papunta dun sa kausap, hindi siya pabalik. So, dapat the answer has to be take. Make sure that you take enough money with you. Okay? Kasi palayo sa kung nasaan ka ngayon. Ngayon, nasa house siya eh. So, palabas siya ng house, so kailangan take. And if you answered bring dito, at dito specifically, you really have to brush up on that kasi yun yung common na error dyan.
Tell or say, which one should you use? That's what we're going to talk about today. We're going to talk about the differences between say and tell. Kailan ginagamit ang alin? Yan ang pag-uusapan natin. And just a quick little plug, if you want to reach out to me directly, get reviewers that I made, or join the online or live review events that we have coming up, you can go to www.facebook.com/teamlaika for more information. Now that we have that out of the way, I'm going to switch over to my PC para ma-explain ko better itong concept na ito. I'll see you in a bit.
Alright, ito yung discussion natin on say and tell. And in a way, again, same discussion na rin for said and told. Tense na ang consideration natin sa paggamit ng say versus said, tsaka tell, tsaka told. We will not dive into that dito sa video na ito. Ang pinaka-goal natin is yung difference between using ito or ito. Yun muna, okay? Now, a really simple way to sum up the entire thing is that you say something and you tell someone something. Pero masyado tong simple at hindi comprehensive ito ha. Kaya lang nakatulong din siya sa akin kasi sa aking journey as a trying hard writer, speaker, and someone na consistent learner pa rin naman when it comes to the language. Etong simpleng memory aid na ito ay nakatulong sa akin kaya sinishare ko sa inyo. So again, you say something, you tell someone something. Ibig sabihin kapag ang focus mo is the statement itself, it's usually say. Pero kung ang sinasabi mo ay may sinabi ka sa ibang tao, you say, ang ginagamit mong word ay tell. Okay? And kapag specific quote, it's usually say. Pero again, hihimayin naman natin ito. Now, again, a bit of a disclaimer lang din. This is not in any way comprehensive at lahat ng kailangan yung malaman about the language, tenses, and everything ay makukuha niyo sa video na ito. Hindi kasya sa time. Pero ang focus natin here is how to use these words, lalo na sa language tests at sa exams na may fill in the blanks at sentence correction. Kasi dun nyo siya na-encounter. Okay? So, how do you know kung tama or mali ang paggamit sa kanya? At kung ano din ang tama o maling gamitin? Okay? Now, tatry ko na maging simple siya as possible para mas madali ninyong tandaan. I created a table. So, meron ito, yung table, itong column na to is about say, itong column na to is about tell. Merong shared sila kasi na paggamit. Tapos ito exclusive na sa say, ito exclusive na sa tell. So we'll go through this table dito sa discussion na ito. Okay? The first thing is that kapag reported speech or information, you can use say or tell. Pwede siya for both. Okay? Pag sinabing reported speech or information, ibig sabihin may nangyari and then may isang tao na nagsabi nito. Ang thing kasi again, maybe one of the reasons din bakit tricky itong topic na to sa atin. Kasi sa Filipino, di ba we say sinabi, oh. Sinabi niya ito sa kanya, may sinabi siya, sinabi ko. Yung sinabi, isang salita na siya for everything. Wala tayong masyadong distinction, kaya tayo medyo naguguluhan. So, ang gagawin natin is hihimayin natin ang use sa bawat sitwasyon. Okay, again, pag reported speech or information, pwedeng say, pwedeng tell. Yan yung purpose. For example, we have something like this. Sabi niya, he blanked that he would be there by 6 p.m. Ano yung kanyang sinasabi? Ang sabi niya, oh, I will be there by 6 p.m. Nire-report yung speech na ito. Okay? So, it's another way to think about how it is reported speech. Basically, you're saying that someone said this. You can say na he said that he would be there by 6 p.m. Okay? But, if you write like this, pwede ring told. So, he told me that he would be there by 6 p.m. Again, same naman yung statement, pero told naman siya this time. But, okay, if you have a quick eye, you would notice na merong pinagkaiba itong dalawang sentence na ito. At yun ay yung salitang me. Okay? Kasi ito, he said that he would be there by 6 p.m. Again, the focus becomes the statement. And ito naman, he told me, ibig sabihin may pinagsabihan pa rin siya, which is the first major distinction. Okay? Pero again, it works for both. Pwedeng he said that he would be there or he told me that he would be there. Okay lang yun kasi reported speech naman siya. Now, kailan na siya hindi pwede dun sa kabila? Let's start with say. Pag directly followed by to, this is your first clue, lalo na sa exams, okay? Kapag naka-underline yan, tapos fill in the blanks, tapos yung sinusundang salita ay to, matic say yan. Hindi pwedeng tell. You can't tell to someone. You say to someone. Okay? For example, sabi natin dito sa example na ito, he blanked to me that he was leaving soon. Okay? Now, dahil ang kasunod na salita ay to, wala na. Hindi na pwedeng tell. Okay? Finish na. Automatic yan. Said na. Okay? He said to me that he was leaving soon. Okay? Hindi siya pwedeng he told to me. Or he tell to me. Okay? Kailangan he said to me or he says to me. Okay? Yun yung gagamitin mo. Kaya say or said kapag may kasunod na to. Okay? Now, kapag tell naman, it's directly followed by the IO or the indirect object. Okay, ano yung ibig sabihin ng indirect object? Now, ang indirect object is the one being told, yung pinagsasabihan. Okay, yun yung pinakasimpleng way ko kung paano ko i-interpret yan. Pero basically, kung yan, ito example natin, he blanked me that he was leaving soon. Again, kahawig nung sentence kanina. But if you notice, ang kadugtong nung blank is the word me. Like yung first example natin kanina, sino ba ito? This is the IO or yung pinagsasabihan nung statement. So, sino sinabihan niya? Si me. Ano yung sinabi niya? He was leaving soon. Okay? So, kapag kasunod na kasunod yung pinagsasabihan, it becomes told. He told me that he was leaving soon. Okay? Pero again, kung sa Tagalog, di ba, sinabi niya sa akin na aalis na siya. Sinabi niya sa akin na malapit na siya umalis. Sinabi niya sa akin. Parehong sinabi, kaya tayo naguguluhan. So, again, be careful with that. Pag to ang kasunod, say. Kapag IO or indirect object, pag yung pinagsasabihan na tao ang kasunod, it's told or tell. Next, kapag quotation na, direct speech na siya, yung mismong sinabi, direct quote na, ang madalas na ginagamit natin is say. Okay? May exceptions for tell. We'll talk about that later. Pero, ang pinaka-simpleng sagot dyan is, kapag may ganito na, say na siya. Okay, so sabi natin again, say is used with direct speech. Ang example natin would be this, I blank, you have to know your purpose. Okay? Now, eto, na-notice nyo, pinutol ko talaga purposefully yung statement, walang to, walang person. Okay? So, medyo toss up pa siya at this point dahil di pa natin na pag-uusapan. But, ang clue natin next would be the quotes. So, ito ay direct quote or direct speech. You have to know your purpose. Walang person na kinakausap. Leaning na tayo sa say. Okay? Kaya ang gagamitin na natin would be said. So, I said, you have to know your purpose. Okay? Hindi pwedeng I told. Okay? Kasi walang pinagpapasan or walang pinagsasabihan. Ang sasabihin natin is, I said, you have to know your purpose. There is an exception pag tell. Pwede mo siyang gamitin kung direct speech as in may quotation, pero if and only if it's information or instruction na nasa loob ng quote. Okay? Let me give you an example. Okay? Sabi natin again, only lang ha, ibig sabihin, doon mo lang siya pwedeng gamitin kapag instruction yung binibigay or nagbibigay ng bagong information. For example, again, kahawig nung sentence kanina, may onting difference lang. I blank him, find your purpose. Okay? So, binibigyan ka niya ng instruction. Binibigyan kita ng instruction. Inutusan kita to find your purpose. Tapos again, present pa rin yung ating indirect object. So, I told him, find your purpose. Pwede to. Okay? It works kasi may IO, tapos may quotation, pero yung nasa loob ng quotation, hindi basta-basta question lang or phrase. It's actually instruction na to find your purpose. So again, you can only do this if you're giving an instruction or giving information. Okay? So medyo nagiging nagiging faint na yung lines. But again, the first clue here would be yung him, yung player na yon, yung indirect object. Now, ito yung next na distinction. We cannot use it for direct questions. Okay? Ano yung direct questions naman? Ang direct questions natin ay yung mga naka-quote na tanong. Okay? For our purpose in this lesson. So, why should I listen to her? We cannot say, he told. Okay? For that. Hindi natin siya pwedeng gamitin. So, wala tayong choice, kundi said. He said, why should I listen to her? Now, if you're going to ask me, hindi ba pwedeng he asked? Again, this video is only about said and told, say, or tell lang muna ha. Huwag muna natin pag-usapan yung kailang ginagamit yung asked or yung speak na word. It's another lesson for another time. So again, kapag direct question na hindi na pwede ang tell. Pero pwede siya sa said. Which is yung next natin pag-uusapan. Kapag direct questions, we say. Okay? Eto. With direct questions, example, he blank, why should I listen to her? He said, why should I listen to her? Okay? Kasi ito ay direct question, dapat said. And again, nakikita nyo walang player. Now, let me twist things a little bit. Kung lalagyan ko to ng, kuya, he blank to me. Do things change? Okay? So, isi-stretch lang natin ng konti. Now, the answer to that would be hindi. Said pa rin. Bakit? Kasi, point 1, this is a question, a direct question. So, said talaga siya. Okay? And, again, we have the 2 right there. Now, ito yung next. Sa tell naman, and tell and told, we use it kapag ang structure ng phrase, ang pagkakasulat sa kanya ay tell or told plus the indirect object, yung tigatanggap ng statement or pinagsabihan. Tapos, we have the to infinitive. Okay? Kapag advice or orders yung binibigay. Okay? Let me give you an example para mas maging, mas maging visual siya. If you have something like this, sabi niya, he blanked me to stay and wait for the next boss. Okay? Ano yung IO dito? Ang IO would be yung me. Okay? Siya yung sinabihan. Tapos, meron ka nung to. Okay? Right here. To what? To stay and wait for the next boss. So, sa case na ito, you can now say, he told me. Nag-uutos ka di ba? Order or advice. So, he told me to stay and wait for the boss. Okay? Hindi he said, pwedeng he said me to stay and wait for the boss. Okay? Now, kung sinabi niya, he said to me, tapos nag-quote siya, he said to me, tapos beginning ng quote, stay and wait for the boss, yun. Pwede na yun sa said. Okay? Kaya nga, again, medyo manipis yung distinction kapag hindi pa tayo masyadong confident. So, you have to catch yourself every time you say it. Wait lang, tama ba yung pagkakasabi ko nun? Tama ba yung pagkakasulat ko niyan? Check ko nga uli, pwede ko ba to i-rephrase para tama yung gamitin ko? Yun yung pinaka-struggle dito. Okay? Now, here's our table. Again, quick run-through lang para recap natin before we go to the quiz. Kapag reported speech or information, you can use say or tell. But, okay, the structure or how it's written, merong onting pagkakaiba. Kapag directly followed by to, we use say. So, say to him, said to him, we say. Kapag directly followed by the IO or yung tao na pinagsasabihan or tigatanggap ng message, okay, we say tell or told. So, he told her, you tell me. And importante yung pinagsasabihan doon. Kasunod na kasunod. Pag direct speech, may quotations ka. It's almost always say. Okay? You can always use say. You can use tell, but ang limitation is if it's for information or instruction. Again, still following the structure. So, kung hindi siya information or instruction, you just say. Huwag mo nang gamitin yung tell. Okay? Kung sabi mo lang, he said, what's up? Okay? Kasi yung what's up, question yun. Dito na tayo pupunta sa questions. Okay? You can say, he said, what's up? Pero you can say, he told me, what's up? Kasi question yung what's up, question eh. Hindi na siya pwede sa tell. Now, kapag tell naman again, kapag ang form niya or structure na follow, we have the word, the indirect object, tapos yung mga to natin na infinitives for advice or orders, we use tell. He told me to go to the grocery. He told her to stay. The doctor told me to wait. Hindi the doctor say me, wait. Okay, medyo baroque na yung sounding niya. Now, again, a quick little side note here would be this. The more familiar you are with the language, the better you would be pagdating sa listening rule. Ang listening rule, and again, marami na nagtanong sa akin sa TikTok noon, if ang pinaka-explanation ng listening rule is, if it sounds right, it must be right. But that can only work, here's my advice, that can only work if well-read ka, magaling ka, mahilig ka magbasa, mahilig ka manood ng movies na tama ang grammar. If you're exposed to proper grammar, maganda ang listening technique for you. Pero if you listen to wrong na structure ng grammar all the time, if you don't like reading, malilimitahan din yung power ng listening rule for you. Kaya exposure is key. Now, bakit ko sinasabi rin ito? Kasi there are certain special cases for tell. Okay? Now, these are things that we tell. And for these particular cases, we don't say. Let me give you an example. For example, we tell stories or we tell a story. You don't say, Mama, say me a story. Okay. Mama, say a story to me. You say tell. So, Mama, tell me a story. Okay, let me tell you a story. You don't say, let me say you a story. Okay? So, again, when it comes to stories or a story, we say tell. Ganun din for lies. Don't tell a lie. Diba? We must not tell lies. Yung sa Harry Potter, I was just watching the fourth movie the other day. We must not tell lies. I will not tell lies. I must not tell lies. So, lies are told. You don't say lies. Okay? Next, we have yung truth. Kapag truth, you tell the truth then. Okay? You don't just say the truth, you tell the truth. Let me tell you the truth. Next, we have the time. Diba? You tell the time. Let me tell the time. I tell the time using my watch. I use my watch to tell the time. But you don't say the time. Okay? And yung future. So when we tell the future, ibig sabihin na yung mga mangyayari in the future, we don't say the future, diba? Give me your palm so I can say your future. You don't say your future, you tell your future, okay? Yun yung mga, again, these are special cases. These are things that we tell that we don't say. Etong mga to, exposure na lang yan, tsaka try to remember them, especially when you're writing or taking a test, okay? So again, a general na idea is that we say something and we tell someone something. Let's take this, no? Fill in the blanks siya para makita natin yung atake kapag nasa exam na siya, no? We have Paul blank Maria to work on this project. He blank to her, I know you're ready. Let's start with the first one. Sabi niya, Paul blank Maria. Na ano yung sumunod dun sa blank? Ang sumunod sa blank ay si Maria. Sino siya? Siya yung pinagsabihan. So, ito ay yung IO. Directly kasunod. So, we could say na Paul told Maria. Okay? Paul told Maria. Hindi na pwede to. Hindi na to pwede. Dalawa na lang sila. Next. He blanked to her, I know you're ready. Again, this is a statement. Okay? Tapos, ang sumusunod na salita doon sa blank ay to. So, kung to ang kasunod na salita, that means this word right here has to be said. Okay, so he said to her, I know you're ready. The answer would be A. Okay, so that's how you break it down. Now, paano naman kung sentence correction? So, here's what I did dito sa inyong special quick quiz. In this entire paragraph that I'm going to show you, I hid yung mga tama at maling paggamit ng say or said, ng tell at told. And I want you to find all of these words and correct them kung mali sila. Okay? So, I'll give you time. Tapos sa end nun, we're going to discuss kung ano yung tamang sagot. If you're ready with your pen and paper, your timer starts now. Alright, let's see how you did. Okay, so ito yung ating paragraph. It's the same one ha. Lagyan ko lang ng space sa taas para dun sa mga magiging corrections natin. Hahanapin natin sila. Okay? Isa-isay natin bawat statement. Sabi, you can't say people what they can or cannot do. Dun pa lang medyo may parang off na dun, no? Kasi, hindi mo daw pwedeng sabihan yung mga tao. Pero again, sino na yung kasunod na word? Ang kasunod na word is people. Sila yung tatanggap nung sasabihin mo, right? So, ibig sabihin nun, it's better if we use you can't tell. You can't tell people what they can or cannot do. Okay? So, we will change this into tell. Next, we cannot tell to them you're never going to succeed. Okay? Now, if you caught that, medyo off din, we cannot tell to them. Now, tanong, itong tell ba na yan? Tell ba dapat yan o say? Now, ang next na word doon sa kanya is to. Sabi natin again, kapag to ang kasunod, this should be say. So, we cannot say to them, you're never going to succeed. Next, People said me the same. Nako, parang may off, no? So again, sino nagsalita? People. Sinong pinagsabihan? Si me. Dahil kadugtong na kadugtong niya si said, okay, kadugtong siya, this should be told. People told me the same. The truth is that no one can say the future. Okay, now, if you caught that, ang sabi natin, di ba, if you use the future, as in yung para malaman mo kung ano yung hinaharap ng tao to foresee the future, we don't say, we say, tell. So again, kakancel natin yan. The truth is that no one can tell the future. Hard work works. We can and will surprise you. That's me telling the truth. Okay. Now, dito we have another tell or say na word. So, telling the truth. Tanong, tama ba yan? Now, sabi natin, the truth is always told, not just said. So, ibig sabihin nun, pwede natin gamitin yung telling the truth. Hindi natin babaguhin yan. Now, kung binago mo ito, ginawa mo siyang say dahil pinalitan nyo lang lahat ng nakita nyong tell at told ng say and said, at lahat ng say at said ay pinalitan nyo ng tell at told, yan, hinuhuli ko lang kayo, kaya ako nilagay yan dyan. Kasi yung iba, ang ginawa para shortcut, lahat na lang pinalitan, no? Hindi naman ganun yon. Again, it's, ano na yan, case-to-case basis na yan. Kaya ako yan nilagay dyan kasi ang translation nito in aptitude exams would be, kapag nakakita kayo yung sentence correction, alam niyo yung spot the error, sa part ng sentence ang mali. Minsan naman, no error din talaga. Okay, so you have to be confident. Pero, you would only shade no error kung sigurado ka talagang walang mali. And when you see the word tell, make sure na it applies. At dahil truth naman yan, tama yan, we'll leave that as that. Next, I say you this with confidence after hearing stories people say. O, dalawa na yung say na yan. Isa-isay natin. I say you this. Again, ano yung sinusundan na word? You, yung pinagsasabihan. So, anong mas maganda dyan? Ang mas maganda dyan, palitan natin yan, gawin natin tell. I tell you this with confidence after hearing stories people say. Okay, ano ba tong people say na to? Ano yung sinesay nila? Ang sinesay nila are stories. Yan yun yan yung pinag-uusapan. And like we said kanina, we always tell stories. We don't say stories. So, ibig sabihin nun, yan papalitan natin ng tell. Okay? I tell you this with confidence after hearing stories people tell. Okay. Now, ano tayo, babalikan natin yan mamaya when it comes to editing your sentences, okay? Dito muna tayo sa next. Whenever I say, never stop learning, I hope you hear me. Okay, we have a say right here. Ang tanong, tama ba siya dyan? Now again, this is advice, this is a statement, this is a direct quote, okay? But, wala naman ding pinagsabihan, walang object, walang indirect object yan. So, ibig sabihin nun, I can indeed use the word say. Tama rin yung say na yan. Hindi nyo kailangan palitan. I hope you hear me. Tama na yan. Now, ito na yung sinasabi ko. Babalikan natin tong sentence na ito right here. Bakit? Kasi, if you notice, may tell na siya sa una, may tell pa siya sa pangalawa. So, ibig sabihin ito, and again, this is all about better writing. Kaya ako nilagay itong question na ito para dun sa mga gustong gumaling when it comes to writing essays. This is just a quick little tip for you from someone who edits other people's work, ha? Kapag may tell ka na nauna sa sentence, tas may tell ka pa uli, unless it's really a poetic choice, mas maganda if you just rephrase things para hindi naman tell and tell. Kasi di ba ang awkward din nung I tell you this with confidence after hearing stories people tell. Dalawa na yung tell mo. So, you can actually change this up. Ang gagawin natin sa kanya, gagawin natin na I say this na lang. I say this with confidence after hearing stories people tell. So, para lang hindi naman dalawang tell yung nasa sentence. Okay? Para lang mas i-improve pa natin siya ng konti. Okay? That's just my take dito sa sentence na ito. Now, again, quick little editing tip lang din. Dahil yung never stop learning is something na can stand alone naman as a sentence, you can actually turn this into capital na lang. Never stop learning like that. Okay?
If and when. Kung and kapag. That's what we're going to talk about Alright, so ito yung lecture natin on if and when. Sinama ko na rin yung lesson natin on kung at kapag kasi equivalent sila. Mas madali rin nyo matatandaan kung matututunan nyo sila both kasi pwede nyo silang i-check pag dating sa mismong exam ninyo. So whether the question is in Filipino or in English, pwede nyo i-cross-check using yung kanyang equivalent sa kabilang language na yon. I'll show you how to do that later. Okay? Now, let's start with the English na pair. Ano ang pagkakaiba ng if at saka ng when? Pareho silang cause and effect na ginagamit. So, ibig sabihin noon, pag sinabi kong if, may isang bagay, tapos if, and then yung mangyayaring kasunod. Pag sinabi ko ring when, ganon, so this is one thing, and then meron siyang catch, which is when this other thing happens. Pero kailan sila ginagamit? Now, yung if, you use it for something that may or may not happen. Ibig sabihin nun, hindi ka pa sure kung mangyayari siya talaga. Hindi ka pa 100% sure na mangyayari yung event. Okay? You use when kung alam mo na it will happen, hindi mo lang alam exactly kung kailan. Okay? Or actually, kahit alam mo kung kailan exactly siya nangyari, ang importante doon is may 100% na possibility na itong bagay na ito ay matutuloy. Okay? So, ibig sabihin, it will only take time. It's all a matter of time. Mangyayari at mangyayari siya. If kung hindi ka sure na mangyayari nga talaga siya. Now, the best way for you to really see yung distinction is to use a sentence na magkahawig. So, for example, we have this. Sabi niya, you'll hear me sing blank, we get married. Now, if I say, you'll hear me sing if we get married, ang ibig sabihin nun, mahiririnig mo siya kumanta kung ikakasal kayo. Ibig sabihin, hindi ka sure. Okay? Na ikakasal kayo. Okay? So, para siyang biro. Diba? Yung kunyari, sabi nung kaibigan mo, oh, kanta ka naman. Sabihin mo lang, ay nako, maririnig mo lang kung kumanta if you marry me or if we get married. Pero kung hindi mo maririnig kumanta. So, again, hindi sure, okay, na mangyayari yung isang bagay. Now, if we change this up, if we say, you'll hear me sing when we get married, yung when, it is something that will happen 100%, okay? Sure ka na mangyayari to. So, ibig sabihin ng when we get married, ibig sabihin, parating yung araw na ikakasal kayo at pag kinasal kayo, maririnig ka niyang kumanta. Okay? So, again, it's not a question of kung mangyayari siya o hindi. It's all about kung kailan siya mangyayari. Kasi it will definitely happen 100% of the time. Okay? Now, when does it matter? Kapag pinag-usapan natin yung totoong ibig sabihin sa sentence, you have to choose well kung if or when yung pinag-uusapan. Now, why is this important? Kasi maiiba niya yung ibig sabihin ng buong sentence. Kapag sinabi mo na if, ibig sabihin nun, posibilidad lang na mangyari ito. Kapag when, ibig sabihin mangyayari nga talaga siya. At yung pagkakaiba na yun will actually change the entire story. Okay? So, when we choose then kung anong ginagamit natin kung if o when ba, you have to ask yourself, yun bang mangyayari na ito ay mangyayari talaga? O may posibilidad na hindi matuloy? Kapag may posibilidad na hindi matuloy, you use if. Pero kung sigurado ka na talaga, then you use when. Okay? Now, paano naman yung Filipino, yung kung at saka yung kapag? It's actually the same, okay? Ang equivalent lang is that kung is if it may or may not happen. Ibig sabihin, yung kung, ito yung ating if. And then yung kapag natin is something that will definitely happen. So, ito yung ating when. Now, bakit ito nagmamatter? Kasi pagdating sa spoken language in Filipino, napagpapalit ito. Meron pang isa which is yung pag. Yung pag is yung parang mas maikling version ng kapag. And when we use it, hindi na tayo masyadong particular kung tama o mali yung paggamit natin sa kanila. But again, it matters kasi it changes the meaning of the sentence. So for example, sabi, paano blank sinabi niyang mahal ka niya? Pag sinabi ko na paano kung sinabi niyang mahal ka niya, ibig sabihin this is theoretical. Ibig sabihin, what if lang siya? What if sinabi niya na mahal ka niya. Okay? So again, hindi ka sure kung mahal talaga siya nung taong pinag-uusapan. Okay? Pero paano lang? Paano kung sabihin niya? Theoretical, nasa isip lang, pwedeng mangyari, pwedeng hindi. Pero if your friend says, paano kapag sinabi niyang mahal ka niya? Pag sinabi niyang kapag, ibig sabihin, yung pagsasabi ng tao na to na mahal ka niya, this will happen. So ibig sabihin, it'll happen in the future. Okay? Sure ka na mangyayari. Ibig sabihin yung friend mo na to, nung sinabi niya na, paano kapag sinabi niyang mahal ka niya, sinabi nung person na yun sa kanya na mahal ka nga niya talaga.
Okay? So, para sinabi niya, "Uy, hindi, alam mo, mahal ko talaga si Laika." Okay? So, something like that. So, pag sinabi niyang kapag, ibig sabihin, darating at darating yung panahon na mangyayari yon kasi sure siya na sinabi niya na yon. Okay? So, again, mag-ingat tayo pag usapang pag-ibig lalo. Pag narinig mo sabihin na kung mahal ka niya, ibig sabihin ng kung, pwedeng oo, pwedeng hindi. Pero pag sinabi niyang kapag, ibig sabihin totoo talaga. Okay? So, kung papakasalan kita, iba yon sa kapag pinakasalan kita. Kasi kung nasa isip niya lang, pwedeng mangyari, pwedeng hindi. Pwedeng magbago ang isip. Pero kung kapag, ibig sabihin, it will happen eventually. Okay? So again, mag-ingat sa mga pambobola, lalo na sa text. Mamaya, iba pa lang ibig sabihin, kailangan ina-assume lang natin na pangako yun. Okay? So something like this, ano kaya ang tamang sagot? Sabi, blank, you do your part, you will make it. The only question is, blank, will it happen? Now, in order for us to get this correctly, dapat himayin natin sila. So sabi, blank, you do your part, you will make it. Anong gusto niyang ipahati dito? Ang sabi dito, kung gagawin mo daw yung iyong part, you will make it. So, ibig sabihin, ito ay hindi ka pa sure. Okay? Hindi pa siya sure na gagawin mo nga yung part mo. Okay? Kasi nandito pa tayo sa will, no? Mangyayari pa lang to in the future. And when sinabi niya ito, ang sinasabi niya is that, oy, pag hindi mo ginawa, hindi ka magiging successful. Pag ginawa mo, magiging successful ka. So, condition siya. So, ibig sabihin, if you do your part, you will make it. Kung gagawin mo yung part mo, you will make it. Okay? So again, yun yung equivalent. Kung tinagalog mo siya and you use the word kung, you use if. Kung tinagalog mo siya, ginamit mo yung kapag, you use when. Next question. The only question is, blank, will it happen? Okay? So sabi dito, kung gagawin mo daw yung part mo, you will make it. At kung gagawin mo yung part mo, the only question is, blank, will it happen? So ibig sabihin, pag ginawa mo yung part mo, you will definitely make it. So, kailan siya mangyayari? The answer would be, when will it happen? Kasi, dahil ginawa mo na yung part mo, definitely magiging successful ka. Definitely, you will make it. Kaya lang, hindi mo lang alam kailan exactly siya mangyayari. So, the answer is if and when, letter C. Okay? So, again, always ask yourself, ano ang intent? Ano ang tunay na gustong sabihin nung nagsasalita? Okay? Are you talking about a specific event that's going to happen or a possibility? Okay? Now, the best way for you to see if nakuha nyo talaga to is through our quick quiz. So, if you're ready with your pen and paper, you have to choose lang kung if or when yung ilalagay nyo sa blank and your timer starts now. Alright, let's see how you did. So, let's start with yung ating first sentence. Sabi niya, blank, I was young, I wanted to change the world. So, kapag sinabi ko tong if, ibig sabihin hindi ka sure kung bata ka o matanda. Now, it won't happen kasi ikaw yung speaker. So, ibig sabihin, we're talking about something that happened in the past. Okay? Definite to, nangyari talaga, 100%. So, the answer would be when. So, when I was young, I wanted to change the world. Next, I didn't know how I'd do that, but I decided I'd figure it out. Blank, I was older. Now, again, yung older na part dyan, ibig sabihin tatanda ka. Ang pagtanda is inevitable, mangyayari talaga at mangyayari yan. So, you can say when. Okay? Kasi yung if, gagamitin natin kung hindi ka sure na mangyayari isang bagay. Ang pagtanda, lahat naman tayo tumatanda. Next, number 3, I used to think that blank, I kept working hard, everything will be easy. So, dati daw, akala niya, pag nagtrabaho siya ng maigi, kung magtatrabaho siya ng maigi, everything will be easy. So, ibig sabihin nun, this is a condition, no? Again, hindi ka sure kung magiging madali lahat. It all depends on your decision kung magtatrabaho ka o hindi. So, again, hindi sure yung pagtatrabaho niya na maigi, hindi siya definite. So, ibig sabihin, the answer should be if. Okay? So, I used to think that if I kept working hard, everything will be easy. So, ibig sabihin nun, pwede ka magtrabaho maigi, pwede hindi sure, use if. Next, blank, I didn't get good grades, I felt like a failure. So, nung hindi daw siya nakakakuha ng magandang grades, na-feel niya na failure siya. Yung pagkuha ng good grades, okay, nangyari ba siya o hindi 100% of the time? Are you sure na nangyari siya? Now, sabi dito, I felt like a failure. So, definitely, these are things that happened 100% of the time. So, that would be when. When I didn't get good grades, I felt like a failure. Next, now I know better. Blank, things worked out exactly as planned. I wouldn't be where I am today. So, ibig sabihin, ang sinasabi niya dito, kung yung mga bagay daw ay nag-work out exactly sa plano niya, hindi ko mararating yung narating ko ngayon. So again, yung things working out, may posibilidad siyang mangyari, meron posibilidad na hindi. Actually, hindi nga nangyari kaya siya nandito ngayon. So the answer here should be if, kasi hindi ka 100% sure na things worked out. Okay? Na hindi na mangyayari yung mga bagay na gusto mong mangyari. Okay? So the answers are when, if. Okay, so again, always ask yourself, may option ba o wala? May posibilidad bang mangyari? Or 100% sure ka na mangyayari siya? Kung 100% sure ka mangyayari siya or nangyari siya, it becomes when. Kung hindi siya 100% sure all the time, then it will be if. Okay?
This video is brought to you by the Team Laika Online Review Program. More about this later.
Today we're going to talk about something na probably you don't know that you don't know. Ano ibig sabihin nun? Hindi mo alam na hindi mo alam. Kasi isa to sa mga Philippinisms na tinatawag. Ano ibig sabihin nun? These are things na dahil sa madalas natin naridinig na mali, akala natin tama. Okay? And hindi natin minsan nasa spot na mali pala siya. And it's dangerous kasi pagdating dun sa fill in the blanks na section ng exam or dun sa spot the error or sentence correction, sometimes akala natin no error yung sagot dun, yun pala hindi. Now, a lot of people ask me kung ano daw yung gumawa daw ako ng video on sentence correction, but I don't do that. And the reason why I don't is kasi ang daming mga possible na errors na pwedeng lumabas doon. Pwedeng grammar, pwedeng ganito, pwedeng homonym horror. So, that is the entire reason why we're talking about grammar and all of these tips, ang mga Philippinisms. Kasi para pag nakita nyo to do sa sentence, alam nyo na agad na, okay, wait lang. Ingatan natin tong word na to, baka mali yung pagkakagamit. And that is exactly what we did dun sa ating previous video, yung in spite, despite, respite. So if you haven't seen that yet, go ahead and click yung link sa taas para makakatch up kayo. That is one of the topics and one of the phrases na I encountered when I myself took the civil service exam and also took other exams in the past. So it's best for you guys to know that. Ito rin, na-encounter ko rin ito. And napahinto rin ako kasi, okay, wait lang. Ano nga ba yung tama? And today, we're going to talk about the difference between come and go. Now, you would think na parang, ay, coach, ang basic naman yan. Alam ko na may ibig sabihin ng come tsaka go. Kasi ang come, punta. Ang go, punta. Exactly. Yun ang problema. Kasi nga sa Filipino, when we talk about come and go, parehong word lang yun, punta, di ba? Pumunta ka dito, pumunta ka roon. Walang difference. But in English, merong malaking difference dyan. So, kailan mo gagamitin yung come, kailan mo gagamitin yung go? Sasabihin mo ba, I'm coming or I'm going? Nasaan at doon ang tama? And kailan mo siya pwedeng gamitin? So, pag-usapan natin yan ngayon and Again, bonus din sa inyo guys, if you stay until the end of the video, there is a free quick quiz that you can access so you can hone your skills dito sa pag-uusapan natin ngayon. So make sure that you stay until the end of the video. Right now, switch na ako to my PC so I can show you how to do it. I'll see you in a bit.
Okay, today we're going to talk about the difference between the words come and go. And in this type of problem na ma-encounter ninyo, whether sa fill in the blanks or sa sentence correction, what you need to understand is that what sounds right may not always be right. In grammar kasi, we have something called the listening rule. What that means basically is what sounds good must be correct. But in this case, since maraming beses nyo na to probably narinig na sinabing wrong, and if you are not that well read or hindi kayo mahilig makinig ng English or hindi kayo mahilig manood ng proper English films or movies or series, then you may have a hard time dito. In fact, looking at Facebook comments, kahit mga Amerikano or British, minsan nagkakamali din sila dito. And even advanced speakers still make that mistake. Ako, personally, I have to be careful din dito kasi may mga times na nawawaglit ko siya lalo na sa speaking language. So, kunyari may kausap ako. Okay, minsan nasabi ko na yung babakta ko lang, I'm sorry, I meant go. Ganon. Kasi nga, hindi tayo masyadong sanay. So, what I would suggest would be familiar with the rules. And again, if you don't get it right the first time, feel free to watch it again. That's the reason why I put it up on YouTube. Okay? So, ang pag-uusapan natin talaga or ang nagde-determine ng whether you use come or go is the direction. Okay? So, regardless of kung sino ang kausap, ilan ang kausap, it really doesn't matter. Ang pinag-uusapan is the direction. Is it towards, papunta, o away, paalis, or palayo? And you have to remember certain rules. And I'm going to try to break it down as simply as possible and give you examples then. First word we're going to talk about is the word come. Now, sa conversation, what you need to understand is that there's always a speaker and a listener. Okay? So, when you read a sentence exam, think of it that way. May nagsasabi nitong sentence na to. And kung sino man yung nagsasabi nun at kung nasaan siya will play a role in whether you use come or go. So, you have to be aware. Kaninong dialogue to? Nasaan siya? Saan siya papunta? Paalis ba siya or papunta? Okay? So again, ang speaker, siya yung nagsasalita sa sentence. Ang listener yung nakikinig. So there are two people all the time. Okay? So you have to be aware of the rules. So we will talk about when to use it and also I'll give you an example para makita nyo siya in action. Okay? So, use the word come if the movement is towards the speaker. So from listener to speaker, if yung listener, yung kausap mo ay pinapapunta ko dito, then use the word come. So, for example, if papupuntahin ko kayo dito kung nasaan ako ngayon, use the word come. For example, okay, ang direction is listener to speaker or there to here. Papunta kayo dito. Like this sentence, blank here and I'll help you. Ano ibig sabihin nun? Sino ang pupunta here? Yung listener, pinapapunta ko dito kung nasaan ako ngayon. Okay? And since the movement, physically maglalakad siya papunta sa akin, then use the word come. Come here and I'll help you. Hindi go here. Okay? Now, again, most people, pareho lang yan sa kanila, pero in truth, hindi yan pareho. So, it has to be come here and I'll help you. Kasi from there to here. Okay? Now, if the movement is towards the direction of the listener, or paganyan, whether it's the speaker or not, pag yung speaker pupunta sa listener, kaya ako, pupunta ako kung nasaan kayo ngayon, it's still come. For example, I can also blank to your house tonight. So in this case, ako ay pupunta sa'yo, ibig sabihin the direction is towards the listener, papunta ako dyan, that is also come. Okay? Now, most people think go yan, pero mali yan. Okay? Now, this is what I meant by not trusting your ear. Pag sinabi ko sa inyo, I can also go to your house tonight, okay, di ba? Minsan, tingin natin tama. But the truth is, since ikaw yung kausap ko at ikaw may-ari ng buhay ng bahay, at ikaw ay nandyan ngayon, okay, nandun siya sa bahay niya, kung pupunta ako sa'yo, then you use the word come. Okay? Now, paano pag pinag-usapan yung ibang tao? If we're talking about someone else, ay ibig sabihin na may third person dun sa conversation. Okay? Sana sa conversation, pwedeng may tatlo yan, ha? Pero sa relationship, bawal yung tatlo. Okay? So, if speaker, listener, and then you have someone else. Okay? For example, meron ditong, meron ditong someone else. Okay? So, meron tayong ibang tao dito. Okay? Pangalanan natin siyang J. If si J ang pinag-uusapan, ang tanong is saan papunta si J? Papunta ba siya sa speaker? Papunta pa siya sa listener? Okay? Kung papalapit siya sa either one of them, kung papunta siya sa speaker or papunta siya sa listener, kung saan man siya papunta, okay? You also use the word come. If ang direction ay papunta dun sa kausap mo. So, in this case, I'm sure J will blank to your house too. Okay? Since ang kausap, the listener, is nandun sa bahay niya. Okay, ngayon. So, I'm sure J will come to your house too. Hindi J will go to your house too. Okay? Kasi nga, yung si J, papunta ngayon sa kung nasaan yung listener. Okay? At kung siya ay papunta dun sa isa sa kanila, whether it's the speaker or the listener, then you use the word come. Now, bakit kayo kailangan mag-ingat? Kasi again, pag pinakinggan mo, I'm sure J will go to your house too. May mga pagkakataon na pwede mo rin tanggapin yan. Now, ano ang difference nung I can also go to your house at saka J will go to your house too? You will only use the word go here if yung listener ay wala sa bahay. Okay? If the listener is not in the house, then you can use the word go. Kasi ang ibig sabihin nun, kung ito yung speaker, ito yung listener, okay? At ito yung bahay, malayo, then that could be go. Pero if the listener is in the house, okay, then you use the word come. Okay? So again, that's a bit of a tricky topic, so be careful with that. Now, there is a clue word. Ang clue word natin is the word here. Okay? If you see the word here, okay, ibig sabihin nun dito, then that is a clue na you will use the word come. Okay? Again, not all the time. Perhaps you have to be careful kung nasan yung placement ng here at saka kung sino talaga yung nasa here. But, that could be a clue for you na pag may here kayo nakita, come yung gagamitin. Now, let's talk about the second word, which is go. Again, let's talk about the speaker and the listener. It also matters in this case. You use the word go kasi, okay, if ang direction is away from the speaker and listener. Ano ibig sabihin nun? Kung yung speaker ay palayo, yung listener ay palayo, at hindi sila papunta sa isa't isa, then you use the word go. For example, I am blank to school. In this case, okay, dahil yung school ay hindi nandun yung listener, the listener is not in the school, the speaker is not in the school, ibig sabihin ng palayo, papunta sa school. So, this becomes, I am going to school. Next, you need to blank to the market. So, again, nasa market ba yung speaker? Wala. Nasa market ba yung listener? Wala. Pupunta nga siya doon. So, ibig sabihin nun, paalis sila. Hindi sila papunta sa isa't isa. Then, this becomes go. You need to go to the market. Now, again, kung merong third person, if that someone else is moving away from either the speaker or the listener, ibig sabihin palayo rin siya, then you also use the word go. For example, J is blank to be there at the airport. The word becomes going. Is going to be there at the airport. Bakit? Kasi si J wala sa airport. Ikaw, yung speaker, wala rin sa airport. Kasi kung nasa airport siya, sasabihin niya dito here. Okay? Yung listener, wala rin sa airport. Okay? Hindi naka-indicate na nandun siya sa airport. So, ibig sabihin, walang taong nasa airport, si J papunta doon, then you use the word go. May clue word din tayo for go, which is the word there. If you see the word there, then it's probably going to be go. Bakit? Kasi yung there, ibig sabihin nun, doon. Malayo. Papunta pa lang doon. So, hindi siya papunta dito, papunta doon. So, it has to be go. Okay? Now, there's no better way for me to explain that than to give you a quick question right here. So, I'm going to give you a quick minute. Hindi pa ito yung quick quiz natin. It's going to be on a different video, but you can try to answer this. I'll give you time. All right, what did you say? Okay, so again, you have to be more specific. Okay, and again, this sentence, I really designed it to be this way kasi alam ko maraming tayong maiisahan dito if you're not aware of the rules. Dito sa first one, the Philippines is a beautiful place. You should blank there. I hear Cambodia is pretty great. You should blank there too. Okay? If you answered go, go, come, then you're probably wrong. Because I'm going to explain kung ano yung tamang sagot. In this left side, itong first question, the Philippines is a beautiful place. You should blank here. Now, ano yung clue word natin? Here. Ano ibig sabihin ng you should blank here? Ang ibig sabihin ng here is that the speaker, or ako yung nagsasalita, ay nandito ngayon sa Philippines. The Philippines is a beautiful place. You should blank here. Pumunta ka dito. At dahil yung speaker ay kausap niya yung listener at pinapapunta niya dito, then this becomes come. You should come here. Hindi you should go here. Okay? Now, in this second sentence, I hear Cambodia is pretty great. You should blank there too. Again, clue word there. Bakit? Nasa Cambodia ba yung speaker or yung listener? Okay? So, syempre, hindi yung listener kasi siya nga yung gagalaw. And, pinag-uusapan yung Cambodia. Ngayon, sabi natin, di ba, yung speaker nasa Philippines siya. So, wala rin siya sa Cambodia. And you can also see the clue word there. Kasi kung nasa Cambodia ako, I wouldn't say there. I would say here. So, what that means is, this should be go. You should go there too. Okay? So, you can only use come here if nandun ka sa lugar na yon. You go there if wala ka dun. Alright? Lend or borrow. Which one should you use? That's what we're going to talk about today.
Okay, so let's talk about yung difference between lend and borrow. Okay? Now, ang pinakamalaking question dyan is who is speaking or sino ang nagsasalita. Kaninong perspective nang gagaling yung action ng panghihiram at pagpapahiram. Kasi I think if very clear sa atin or picture natin sa utak natin yung situation, nasaan yung speaker, sino yung listener, sino yung receiver, at sino ang giver ng isang item, then we wouldn't be confused dito sa lend and borrow. Okay? So let's try to make this as visual as possible, much like yung discussion natin sa come and go and bring and take, which if you haven't seen yet, nakalink na lang din dito sa I button if you're watching on YouTube. Okay? Now, dito muna tayo sa borrow. Now, ang borrow, ginagamit natin siya if there's one person who is the speaker at siya rin yung tatanggap ng isang item, no? And kausap niya yung giver, which is yung tao na may hawak nung hinihiram na item. Okay? So, this is person number 2. So, again, between two people na nag-uusap, if the speaker, okay, wants to have yung item, like this pen, at hinihiram niya ito sa isang tao, okay, when the speaker or receiver is asking for something that the listener or giver has, again, the direction would go from the listener to the speaker, then we use the word borrow. Okay? For example, may I borrow your pen? Or yung madalas na ginagamit, which is, can I borrow your pen? Okay? So again, borrow if ikaw yung nanghihiram sa isang bagay that someone else has. So pahiram naman ako niyan. Okay? That is borrow. Papunta sa akin, sa direction ko, yung item na pinag-uusapan. Okay? Now, another instance na ginagamit natin yung borrow is if merong speaker, meron ding listener na may hawak ng item na pinag-uusapan, tapos meron pang isang person, okay, na nakikinig din dun sa conversation, or siya naman yung ngayon magiging receiver, okay, nung item na hinihiram. Ano ibig sabihin nun? Kung ako yung nagsasalita, pero hindi sa akin mapupunta yung item. At ang gusto kong gawin is to speak on behalf of the other listener or the receiver. So if I say na I think he wants to borrow your pen, ibig sabihin, sa tingin ko, siya, okay, itong si person number 3, gusto niyang hiramin yung pen mo. Okay? But again, because I am speaking on behalf of yung receiver, okay, ibig sabihin, kami pa rin yung tatanggap ng item, okay, and hinihingi natin ito sa isang tao na may hawak nung gamit na yon, okay, isin papunta pa rin sa direction namin, just in this case, hindi sa akin directly mapupunta, pero sa someone else, then it's also borrow na ginagamit natin, okay. So again, sabi niya, pahiram daw nung pen,
Okay? So again, yung receiver ang pinag-uusapan. Now, kailan naman ginagamit yung lend? Ang lend ginagamit natin kung merong tao na siya yung may hawak ng item na pinag-uusapan, tapos siya yung person 1 dun sa conversation, tapos merong isang tao na siya namang person 2 na tatanggap ng item na yon. So again in this case, ako na ang may hawak ng gamit and ipapahiram ko naman or ipahihiram ko sa ibang tao. Okay? So I have it, I will be the giver, and you will be the receiver of that item. So again, if the speaker is the giver, binibigay niya sa ibang tao, okay, yung nakikinig, na siyang listener, yun yung lend. So I can say something like, let me lend you a pen. So hayaan mo na pahiramin kita ng pen. Again, nasan yung pen? Nasa akin. So yung speaker, siya ang may item, siya ang may hawak. Okay? Now, pwede rin na ako ay magpapahiram, pero this time, 3 na yung tao. Okay? You have 1, yung person number 1, speaker at may hawak ng item. Listener number 1 or yung second person na siyang nakikinig or kausap nung nagpapahiram. Pero yung item mapupunta sa pangatlong tao. Okay? Na hindi yung kinakausap ko directly. So, ano ibig sabihin nun? The speaker or giver is handing someone that another listener or receiver wants. Okay? So, I could say, let me lend him a pen. Pero ang importante again, kaya lend pa rin siya, is kasi nanggagaling sa akin. Okay? Now, pwede rin nasabihin ko na he lent her a pen. Okay? Kasi ang pinaka gumagawa ng action, ng verb na yon is yung he na nagpahiram din nung pen sa ibang tao naman. So again, depende sa kung sino may hawak ng item. Kung wala sa akin yung item, pero hinihingi ko sa iba, I'm borrowing it. Kung nasa akin, binibigay ko sa iba, then I am lending that pen. At kung ikaw naman ang may hawak ng item at pinapahiram mo sa iba, then you would be lending it to someone else. At kung ikaw naman ay tigatanggap din ng isa bagay na hinihingi natin sa ibang tao, then you are borrowing that from someone else. Okay? So again, always think about ano ba yung perspective or kung sino ba yung nagsasalita. Siya ba yung nanghihiram o nagpapahiram? Sino ba yung pinatutungkulan sa statement? Yung gumagawa ng action? Yung nanghihiram o yung nagpapahiram? Kasi yung pagpapahiram ay lend, yung panghihiram ay borrow. Okay? Now, the best way for you to check if you na-understand nyo yung ating lesson ngayon is through a quick quiz. All you have to do is fill in the blanks. Lend ba o borrow ang gagamitin? And if you're ready with your pen and paper, your timer starts now. Alright, let's see how you did. So, ito na yung ating paragraph, no? May 5 blanks tayo. First sentence, sabi niya, I would rather spend my own money than blank from other people. So, mas gusto ko na gumastos kaysa manghiram galing sa ibang tao. So, again, yung nagsasalita, hindi siya yung may hawak. Hihiramin daw sa ibang tao. So, ibig sabihin, this would be borrow. I would rather spend my own money than borrow from other people. They say that those who blank are servants to those who blank them money. So, isa-isahin natin. Sabi daw nila, yung mga nanghihiram, okay, ay servant nung mga nagpapahiram sa kanila. So, that would mean na yung first blank ay borrow At yung second blank natin ay lend. Okay? So they say that those who borrow, yung mga nanghihiram, are servants to those who lend them money. So sino sa mga nagpapahiram sa kanila ng pera. Okay? And I think that makes sense. That is also why I would rather give what I can than blank people money. So, ibibigay ko na lang pera kaysa pahiramin ko sila or pautangin ko sila. So, I would say this should be lend. That is also why I would rather give what I can than lend people money. That way, they wouldn't feel like they must, so sila naman, no? Hindi nila mararamdaman na sila ay kailangan na mag-lend or magpahiram sa akin ng oras nila, services, or affection, or sabi nga natin, di ba sa Filipino, mangutang na loob, just to make up for it. Okay? So that way sila, hindi nila kailangan ako bigyan. Okay? Kasi kaninong time ba to? Di ba? Hindi dun sa speaker. Time ito, services and affection ng mga may utang sa kanya. So, hindi nila kailangan na ipahiram sa akin ito. Okay? So, the last blank is lend. Borrow, borrow, lend, lend, lend. Alright? I hope
In behalf or on behalf, which one should you use? That's what we're going to talk about today.
Alright, ito na yung lecture natin on in behalf and on behalf. Dito ko siya nalagay sa YouTube kasi I figured mas lengthy yung discussion. Parang hindi ko pa sure kung maiintindihan siya within yung short amount of time na sa TikTok. And marami na kasi talaga nagre-request ng topic na ito. So, hihimayin natin yung difference sa kanila. Okay? Now, let's start with in behalf. Kapag in behalf, you're saying na what you're doing is for the benefit, advantage, or interest of another person. Okay? So, ibig sabihin, may tinutulungan ka. That's another way to look at it. You're helping others. Okay? So, direkta yung tulong. You're not just speaking sa kanilang stead. You are actually helping them. Ipapasa mo yung kung ano mo makukuha mo sa kanila. Tinutulungan mo sila. So, example, something like this. Sabi, the director helps raise funds blank of the university's scholars. So, ano ginagawa ng director dito? And very important talaga imagination, ha? So, imagine niyo kung may director ng college or ng university, tapos nagsasalita siya sa mga sponsors, nag-hold siya ng mga fundraising activities, pero ginagawa niya yon to help the students na kailangan ng pera. Okay? So, again, yung pinaka-distinction niyan is yung pagtulong. It has to be something na ginagawa nung tao na yon na magbe-benefit ang ibang tao. Okay? Again, for the benefit, advantage, or interest of someone else. So, in this case, this should be in behalf. In behalf of the university's scholars. So, kinukuha niya yung funds, ginagamit niya yun, tutulungan niya yung mga scholars ng university. Okay? Now, how do you better remember it? You can look at this, no? If you see here, you have IN, kasi in behalf, and yung IN na yan, nandito rin sa helping. Now, this is just something I'm hoping that makakatulong sa inyo pagdating na mag-exam na kayo if you're going to remember. Ano nga ba ibig sabihin ng in behalf? Think of the word helping kasi may IN din siya. Okay? So, kapag may tinutulungan kang iba, you're helping in behalf. Sa on behalf naman tayo. Kapag on behalf, you're saying na you are doing this as the agent of, in place of, or on the part of. Basically, you're representing someone else. Okay, so yung kanina, it's about helping. Ngayon, it's about representing someone. Ano ibig sabihin nun? Kung mayroong mga deals na kailangan maayos at ikaw ang nandun na representative ng inyong kumpanya, kung ikaw ang, sabihin natin, PRO ng section ninyo, kung ikaw ang magsasalita para sa asawa mo, para sa tatay mo, you are doing things on their behalf. Okay? So, for example, we have something like this. As the elective representative, I'm speaking blank of all my classmates. Okay? So, himayin natin yung sentence. Kasi yung iba, again, maguguluhan tayo kasi may iba na namang people involved. Oo naman. Pero ang tanong, tinutulungan niya ba itong mga tao na to o nire-represent niya lang? Kasi ang tinutulungan would be anything you get nga goes to them. Pero when you talk about on behalf, ibig sabihin, ikaw ang nagsasalita or nag-decide para sa kanila, pero hindi mo naman sila necessarily tinutulungan. Kaya lang wala kasi sila ngayon. Kaya nga in place of or on the part of or as the agent of. So, ibig sabihin, pag hindi sila pwedeng nandoon or wala silang kakayanan na mag-show up sa meeting, you can speak on behalf. Okay? So sabi dito, as the elected representative, I am speaking blank of all my classmates. So nagsasalita daw siya representing someone. So ang tamang sagot dito would be on behalf. So again, to better remember it, you could look at this. Yung on behalf, you have ON. And dito sa ating parang clue, meron din tayong ON kasi representing someone. So yan yung ON natin. Okay? Para lang mas madali siyang tandaan. Now it's time for your quick quiz. So we have in behalf and on behalf. Again, you already know the difference. Yung in behalf, you're helping someone. On behalf, you are representing someone or speaking for someone. Okay? Now, all of these blanks, pipiliin nyo lang kung anong mas tamang sagot, kung in behalf ba o on behalf. Ilalagay nyo lang siya dun sa blank and then pag-uusapan natin sa dulo. Okay? Now, again, some of these sentences, kasi I'm trying na isiksik yung as many blanks as I could in one paragraph. Pero hindi maganda na paulit-ulit gamitin itong mga phrases na to if you're writing a paper, ha? We're just doing this para matrain yung eye ninyo sa paghahanap ng context clues and sa pag-examine kung ano ba talaga yung tamang gamitin. Okay? And if you're ready with your pen and paper, your timer starts now. Alright, let's see how you did. Okay? Isa-isahin natin yung sentences. The first one, sabi, legislators are elected to create laws blank of their constituents. Yung legislators ang pinag-uusapan siya constituents. If you're not familiar with these words, that's okay. That's even better kasi at least after this video, mas magiging familiar na tayo. Now, ang legislators, ang ibig sabihin niya, these are the people who legislate or make laws. They are the ones who write laws. So, ito na yung mga congressmen, yung ating mga representatives, yung ating mga senador. Ang constituents naman are the people that they represent, yung kanilang probinsya, yung bayan kung saan sila nagmula, yung kanilang sektor sa lipunan, in the cases of party lists, and of course, yung mga senador, yung ating buong bansa. So, when we say that legislators are elected to create laws blank of their constituents, are they just representing yung kanilang constituents or are they helping them? Now, anong pinag-usapan natin dito? These are laws. Okay? And in this case, dahil dalawa lang ang option natin, you have to choose the best answer. So, tatry natin ngayon i-replace to with yung phrase. Are we saying that legislators are elected to create laws helping their constituents or just representing their constituents? Do they create laws representing their constituents or helping them? Okay, sa akin, again, mas maganda if we say na in behalf kasi they are helping, these laws are helping their constituents. They are designed to help yung kanilang mga kababayan. Okay, yun yung purpose nun. Hindi lang sila basta nagsasalita in this case. They're actually creating laws that will directly help other people, their constituents. Now, you could argue, pwede rin ang on behalf, but again, dun sa spirit nung sentence natin, mas magandang option lang yung in behalf. Next, as our eyes and lips in Congress, they can also start inquiries to investigate blank of Filipinos. Okay? So, as our eyes and lips in Congress. Ano ibig sabihin ng eyes and lips? Sila daw ay mata at bibig natin sa Kongreso. They can also start inquiries or nagsisimula sila ng mga investigations blank of Filipinos. So, in this case, are they helping Filipinos or representing Filipinos? Okay? Now, dahil ang pinag-uusapan ay eyes and lips, talking, speaking, making inquiries, questioning, investigating, ibig sabihin they are doing this on behalf of Filipinos. Kasi now they are doing this for their in replacement dahil hindi naman nila kayang gawin yun, hindi natin kayang gawin yun by ourselves. So ito ay them speaking for us. Okay? Next, we have people who claim to create projects funding programs blank of those in need should also speak blank of the people they served. Isa-isa natin. People who claim to create projects, funding programs blank, sinong pinagpupuntahan nito? Those in need. So, itong those in need ba, nire-represent lang nila o tinutulungan nila? Anong ginagawa nung programs? Do they actually help? Syempre, they do, right? So, these programs are in behalf of those in need. Should also speak blank of the people they serve. So, dun sa pangalawa naman, we're talking about speaking. So, speaking, blank the people they serve. So, are they helping now or speaking as representatives or representing the people? Dito naman, representing na lang. So, it becomes on behalf. Okay? And then last, I wish all of those in positions of power truly make decisions blank of all instead of just the wealthy few. So I wish all of those in positions of power, sila daw lahat, they will make decisions. And anong mangyayari sa decisions na to? Kanino mapupunta? Sa all instead of just the wealthy few. So anong gagawin ng decisions? Are the decisions just representing the people or are they going to actually directly help people? Tutulungan ba nila? Okay, now again, the better answer would be in behalf. Kasi, I wish, sana, di ba, sana lahat ng mga nasa posisyon na makapangyarihan, yung mga desisyon nila, gagawa sila ng desisyon na makakatulong sa lahat. Hindi dun sa mayayaman lang na kakaunti. Yun ang ibig sabihin nun. So, dahil we're talking about help, mas maganda kung in behalf. So, ang sagot natin, we have in, on, and then in. In-alternate ko lang siya. Okay?
All of the. Which one should you use? That's what we're going to talk about today. Pag-uusapan natin kung kailan tamang gamitin yung all of the, at saka all lang. Yung hindi naman na kailangan dagdagan pa ng kahit ano. Actually, may mga distinction yan at may tamang paggamit at kailangan nating himayin yan sa video na ito. I'm going to jump into yung discussion na natin and I'll see you in a bit.
Alright, so ito yung discussion natin. Anong pinagkaiba-iba ng all the, at all of the? Uunahin natin yung all of the. No, all of the You have to think of it as yung lahat, pero may limitation dahil dito sa word na the. Now, remember when we talked about articles, di ba, ang sabi natin kapag a or an yung ginagamit natin, ibig sabihin, general siya. Pero pag the, ibig sabihin, the dog, or kung sabihin natin, di ba, the man for me, or something like that, ibig sabihin, isang tao na lang yon, nagiging mas specific siya. And ganun din yung rules when it comes to all of the. Pag sabing all of the, ibig sabihin, specific lang yung pinapatungkulan niya. Hindi lahat yung specific group lang na yon. So pag sinabi ko na all of the men in my gym class love to work out. Ibig sabihin, yung mga lalaking pinag-uusapan lang ay yung nandun sa specific na klase na yon. Hindi all men in general, as in lahat ng lalaking nabubuhay sa daigdig. Yun yung pinag-uusapan doon. So again, pag all of the, ginagamit siya for specific nouns. For example, we have this sentence right here. Sabi, blank students in my class are here. Now, dahil ang pinag-uusapan ng noun ay students, pero hindi lahat ng students na nabubuhay sa buong mundo, ibig sabihin, nasa klase ko lang, okay, ibig sabihin yung section lang na tinuturuan ko, sila lang yung pinatutungkulan, sila lang yung nandito right now, I will say all of the students in my class are here. Again, kasi specific nouns lang or limitado na grupo lang yung pinatutungkulan kapag all of the, with the word the being there. Okay? Now, yung all the, naririnig natin to especially in conversations or in casual language. Kasi ito ay shorter form lang ng all of the. Again, kasi present na naman yung word na the. So, you can say all the, pero again, kung specific group lang yung pinatutungkulan or specific nouns lang. So for example, instead of saying yung sinabi ko kanina na all of the students in my class are here, kung ang pinatutungkulan ko lang ay yung mga bata na dahil ito ay spoken language, ay alam naman nung kausap ko kung ano yung pinag-uusapan, I can say all the kids are here. So kunyari, this is something na hindi ko ilalagay sa term paper, hindi ko ilalagay sa diaryo or any publication. Pero kung meron akong, for example, co-teacher lang na nagtanong sa akin, andyan na ba yung mga estudyante mo? I can just say, all the kids are here. Okay? So again, kung casual siya, pwede mong sabihin na all the. Pero kung nag-aaral ka pa lang ng language or nagsusulat ka, it's better to always use na lang yung all of the para hindi ka magkamali. Kasi again, you can use all the but only for casual conversation. Okay? Now, yung all naman. Ang all, dahil wala na yung word na the, is something that we use for general nouns. Ibig sabihin, pag sinabi kong all kids, ibig sabihin lahat ng bata sa buong mundo. Okay? Pag sinabi kong all children love to play, ibig sabihin nun, literal na lahat ng bata sa buong mundo ay mahilig maglaro. Hindi na lang dun sa specific area or group na yon. So, an example would be something like this. Blank students are expected to listen to their teachers or to teachers. Ibig sabihin, pag sinabi kong all students are expected to listen to teachers, hindi lang yan sa estudyante sa loob ng klase ko, hindi lang yan sa estudyante sa loob ng klase mo, lahat ng students sa buong mundo. Okay? Sa buong mundo. Okay? Ay nagfi-fit sa bill na yan. So again, pag sinabi natin na all of the men in my gym love to work out, sila lang yung mga lalaki na nasa gym. Pero pag sinabi ko na all men love to work out, ibig sabihin lahat ng lalaki sa buong mundo. Which is, I don't think naman totoong-totoo. So again, yun yung difference nun, yung word na the. Kapag all of the, specific, kapag all lang, general na siya. Okay? Now, we have to really ask ourselves every time na lalabas to sa exam, sa fill in the blanks, or sa sentence correction, kung tama ba yung paggamit sa kanya. So you have to put yourself sa shoes nung nagsasalita to think kung ano ba talagang pinatutungkulan niya. Is it all of the nouns sa buong mundo or yung nasa specific na group lang na yon? Hihimayin mo ngayon bawat sentence. Alright? So, tingnan natin dito sa quick quiz. Dalawa na lang ang pagpipilian natin. Again, kasi yung all the naman is just a casual form of all of the. You just need to fill in the blanks kung all o all of the ba yung ilalagay natin. Okay? I'll give you time and then at the end, I'm going to discuss kung ano yung mga tamang sagot. Okay? If you're ready with your pen and paper, your timer starts now. Alright, let's see how he did. So, iisa-isay natin per sentence ito. Sabi, the statement, blank people are given the same opportunities in life simply isn't true. Okay? So, ang statement daw ay blank people are given the same opportunities in life. Ano ba tong people na to? Is it people sa specific na group or lahat ng people sa buong mundo? Now, dun sa konsepto nung quote itself, ang sinasabi niyan is lahat ng tao sa mundo. So, this will just be all. All people are given the same opportunities in life, and that simply isn't true. Dito na tayo sa second sentence. Sabi, blank children are born with talents and abilities, but not blank people have the chance to maximize these gifts. So, ano kaya ang gustong sabihin ng author? Ano ang gusto kong sabihin sa sentence na ito? Sino tong children na to? Yung children ba na to ay lahat ng batang pinapanganak sa mundo? Yes, 'di ba? Kasi ang point niya is that lahat ng tao ay pinapanak with gifts and abilities. Yun yung gusto kong sabihin dito sa sentence na to. So this will just be all. Okay? Again, lahat ng children, regardless sa status in life or sa bansa or anything else, lahat ng bata ay pinanganak na may talent. But not blank people have the chance to maximize these gifts. Sino ulit tong people na ito? Sino yung pinatutungkulan? Okay? Ito bang statement na ito ay totoo rin para sa lahat ng tao? Not all people have the chance to maximize these gifts. Totoo ba? Yes. Diba? Hindi lahat ng tao ay may kakayanan to maximize these gifts. So this will still be all. Okay? Kasi lahat ng tao included dun sa statement. And this is true for everyone. Okay? Next, it's easier for blank kids who live in exclusive villages. Okay? So mas madali daw para dito sa mga kids na to. Ngayon, sino ba tong mga kids na to? Lahat ba ng kids sa buong mundo? Eh, nakakabit naman din yun sabi, who live in exclusive villages, di ba? Yan yung kids na yan. So, ibig sabihin, hindi lahat ng mga bata ang pinag-uusapan. Yun lang na mga nakatira sa mga exclusive villages or yung mga mayayaman lang. So, ibig sabihin, ang magiging sagot ko dyan would be all of the. It's easier for all of the kids who live in exclusive villages. Next, it's not as easy for blank kids born poor. So again, anong pinatutungkulan dito? Lahat ba ng bata? Well, hindi naman. Yung mga bata lang who are born poor. So I can just say, for all of the kids born poor. Okay? So again, mas specific siya. Blank people need to work together to bridge this gap. Sino ba tong people who kailangan mag-work together? Okay? Ano yung point ng author? Ang point ko, being the author of this, is that lahat tayo dapat magtulong-tulong. Regardless again of kung sino ka. Lahat ng tao sa buong mundo. So, this will be all. All people need to work together to bridge this gap. As long as tao ka, you can contribute dito sa cause na to. This is my purpose. Okay? So, yan ang sagot natin. All of the, and then all. Again, kapag may the, mas specific siya. Okay? Hindi na siya applicable sa lahat. Alright?
Oncoming, incoming, and upcoming. Which one should you use? That's what we're going to talk about today.
Alright, so ito yung discussion natin sa incoming, oncoming, and upcoming. Sisimulan natin sa incoming. Now, just a quick note, all of them are adjectives. They are words that are used to describe or modify another noun. Okay? So, meron kang noun, dinidescribe mo ito. Now, if the noun that you're describing is incoming, ibig sabihin siya ay arriving. So, paparating ito. So, incoming yung train, incoming yung isang ship. Okay, we can say that. If merong bagong project na paparating, it's incoming. Pwede rin siya sa succession. So, kung merong incoming na president, ibig sabihin siya yung papalit sa president ngayon. Incoming na leader ng isang royal family. So, kunwari ang prince, incoming king, no? Hindi pa siya na o-ordain, hindi pa siya na kukoronahan, pero siya yung susunod na hari. Okay? So, again, that is incoming. Next in line sa isang succession. Pwede rin if it's just starting or beginning. So, may incoming na funds, papasok, incoming na project na parating, nagsisimula pa lang yan, incoming yon. Okay? Now, ginagamit din ang incoming as an interjection. Ano yung ngayon yung interjection? Ito yung mga words like, oh, di ba? Okay, great. Ang incoming, used with an exclamation point, ginagamit ito kapag may mga projectiles na paparating. Okay? So again, there's this feeling pa rin of arriving. So, kunwari, nasa gera kayo, okay? And if any of you are fans of Hamilton, di ba may line doon na incoming, Pag merong mga bomba, o kaya, di ba may kanyon, tas nag-launch ito ng cannonball papunta sa inyo, you can yell incoming. Ibig sabihin, paparating na siya. So, umilag kayo. Parang ganun siya. Okay? Parang ayan na. So, again, it's used as an interjection. Okay? But as an adjective, ito yung tatlong gamit niya, generally. If you have an example like this, okay, sabi, she is the blank student council president. You have your options, incoming, oncoming, and upcoming. Dahil ang gusto mong sabihin ay siya ang paparating or susunod na student council president, ang sasagot natin dyan is incoming. Okay? So, siya yung papalit dun sa presidente ngayon. Siya yung next in the line of succession. Para madaling tandaan, ang incoming usually ginagamit natin related sa timing ng mga bagay. So again, timing ng pagdating nito, as in kakarating pa lang, timing sa pagsunod nito sa succession, and timing din dun sa nasaang part ito ng project. Nasa simula pa lang siya. It's just starting. Just an incoming. Okay? Incoming project, incoming training. Okay? Now, bakit ko nilagay yung timing dyan? Just so we can distinguish yung incoming from upcoming, which is the next one, at saka yung oncoming. Okay? So again, incoming is usually used for timing. Ang oncoming kasi, halos pareho if you think about it. It's also an adjective. Ginagamit din siya if something is coming or drawing nearer. So ano ngayon ang pinagkaiba, coach, nung incoming tsaka oncoming? Kung pareho naman silang paparating. Diba? Sa Tagalog, paparating yun eh. Now, anong pinagkaiba nila? Ang oncoming is usually about something approaching at ang kanyang feeling is more about yung distance or yung kung nasaan yung lumalapit na yon. Okay? Ang feeling niya is that, for example, yung sentence natin, don't forget to check the road for blank vehicles. Ang sinasabi natin dito, yung mga paparating na sasakyan. Pero hindi siya in terms of late siyang dumating, maaga siyang dumadating, kasunod siya ng kahit ano. Ang pinagbabasihan natin is looking at it in terms of direction. So, oncoming vehicles, ibig sabihin, ito yung direction na papunta siya. Okay? Papalapit siya ng papalapit towards me. Okay? So again, ang incoming, lumalapit siya in general. Okay? Lumalapit siya. It's arriving. Pero it's more about yung timing ng pagdating niya. Oras ng pagdating. Ang oncoming, it's about direction. So oncoming vehicles, these are vehicles na hindi lang umaandar, pero papunta sila sa'yo. They are coming or drawing nearer to you. Approaching you. Okay? So, if it's more about direction, yung gusto mong sabihin, mas maganda to use oncoming. Now, ano naman yung upcoming? Ang upcoming naman ginagamit natin if something is happening soon. So, kung papalapit na siya, pero hindi about distance, hindi about yung physical na kotseng babangga sa'yo, okay? Hindi about something arriving, it's about something na mangyayari, malapit nang mangyari. So, there's a bit of anticipation. For example, sabi ito, visit our website to see if there's an blank event near you. So, event ang pinag-uusapan. Okay? Kung pagpipilian natin yung incoming, oncoming, at upcoming, dahil event ang topic, so it's something that will happen, we will say it's upcoming. Visit our website to see if there's an upcoming event near you. Okay? So, ibig sabihin nun, time. Okay? Time ang sinestress ng upcoming. So, ulitin natin ha. Yung incoming is more about arrival, more about yung timing. Okay, yung saktong timing ng dating, kung ito ba ay nakasunod sa someone else kasi succession siya or kakadating niya lang. Ang oncoming is more about direction. So, papalapit siya sa'yo. Something physical, usually, napapalapit sa'yo. Ang upcoming is about time. An event that is happening soon. Papalapit na yung oras na mangyayari iyon. So, again, it's about time. Incoming, timing. Oncoming, distance or direction, kaya direction, oncoming, no? And then, upcoming is about time. Something is coming up soon. Okay? Now, para mas ma-test natin ito, there will be a quick quiz. So, all you have to do is to fill in the blanks. Ano ang mas magandang sagot? Incoming, oncoming, at upcoming. Tapos, i-explain ko sa inyo why I chose those words as the best answer. Okay? Now, if in case may mga ilang words doon na parang ako, sa tingin ko, ito yung better, that's okay if you can explain kung ano yung thought behind the sentence. So again, it's all about intent eh. Ano ba yung gusto kong i-stress dun sa sentence na yon? Okay? So ang gagawin ninyo now is to whip out your pen and paper and your timer starts now. Alright, let's see how you did. So, yung nung una muna tayong sentence, sabi, time passes quickly. It moves steadily as we check each blank message. So, ano yung dinidescribe nitong blank na ito? It's the message, right? Ano ba nangyayari sa message? Dumarating ba siya as in it arrives or it starts something? Is it something that physically goes sa iyong direction? Or is it an event? Now, sa akin, ang message, di ba, kapag may na-receive tayong text or notification, it's something na pumapasok sa inbox mo. It arrives. So, mas maganda yung incoming message. Okay? So, it moves steadily as we check each incoming message. It ticks away while we stand waiting for blank traffic to stop. So, traffic ang pinag-uusapan. Ibig sabihin, movement ng mga sasakyan. So, ano kang ginagawa ng traffic na to? Is it incoming, arriving, oncoming as in lumalapit sa akin, o upcoming? Now, ang traffic, di ba? Again, direction ng sasakyan pinag-uusapan, mas maganda kung oncoming. Okay? So, habang daw nakatayo tayo, naghihintay tayo na yung mga papalapit na sasakyan sa atin ay huminto, it takes away. Next, it dissipates or dissolves, disappears as we anxiously await blank events just to cross them off our calendars. So again, events yung pinag-uusapan niya, no? Events yung pinatutungkulan. At dahil event yan, this should be upcoming. Okay? These are events that are happening soon. So, ang sabi niya parang, lumilipas yung oras habang naghihintay tayo dito sa mga event na ito. Tapos, hinintay lang natin siya para matapos siya, para ma-cross off natin siya sa kalendaryo natin. It takes our strength, speed, and youth and showers them upon the blank generation. So, again, anong minamodify ng word na to? Is generation, no? So, ang sabi, kinukuha daw yung ating strength, speed, youth, tapos binibigay siya sa susunod na generation. So, again, it's more about succession. 'Di ba? So, mas maganda kung incoming generation na lang. Okay? Next, may we not waste away as so many have, walking in a waking days, motivated solely by their blank retirement. So, sana daw wag tayong, kumbaga, wag natin sayangin yung sarili natin, na naglalakad tayo na parang nasa yung tulala ka. Ang gusto mo lang, hinihintay mo lang yung iyong paparating na retirement. So, dahil retirement yung darating, okay? It's something that is really moving towards you, no? Pero, it is an event. Diba? Ang retirement is an event. It's a time in your life. So, it should be upcoming. Motivated solely by their upcoming retirement. Diba may mga ganun yung parang hinihintay ko lang yung retirement and then that's it, no? So, you're living for retirement. And then next, sabi, let us grab each blank opportunity. So, again, opportunity yung paparating. Okay, and blank curveball and give it our all. Now, dito, you may have a different answer. And if you do, you can write a comment below para i-explain yung inyong point of view. Sa akin, ang ginamit ko dito, let us grab each incoming opportunity. Okay, kasi ang opportunity arrives. In my head, ang opportunities, they arrive, di ba? It's all about timing. Parang lahat ng timing na to, lahat ng opportunity bumubukas ng pinto in the right time. Grab natin tong incoming opportunity. Pero yung curveball kasi, okay, this is actually a bit of a metaphor. Sa baseball or any sport na may curveball, ang idea dyan, if life throws you curveballs, is ito yung mga dumarating na problema na hindi mo inaasahan. So, nagugulat ka sa kanila. So, dahil this is a curveball, again, a ball, di ba, no? Something medyo, although metaphorical yung paggamit sa kanya, it's an actual ball. It's an oncoming curveball. As in, hahampasin niya yung mukha mo if hindi mo siya sasaluhin. So, the answer here would be, for me, the best one is oncoming curveball and give it our all. So, again, babasahin ko lang. Time passes quickly. And this is a bit of a love letter din to myself. It moves steadily as we check each incoming message. It ticks away while we stand waiting for oncoming traffic to stop. It dissipates as we anxiously await upcoming events just to cross them off our calendars. It takes our strength, speed, and youth and showers them upon the incoming generation. May we not waste away as so many have, walking in our waking days, motivated solely by their upcoming retirement. Let us grab each incoming opportunity, lahat ng nag-a-arrive, dumating na opportunity, and oncoming curveball, yung hahampas sa'yo or bibigay mo kahit hindi ka masyadong ready, and give it our all. Okay? So, yan yung ating answers for this quick quiz. I hope you got all of these correctly. If you didn't, that's okay. I'll be posting more questions on my Instagram account. So, if you haven't seen those yet, you can follow me at Laika Maravilla on Instagram for the quick quizzes. We post them sa Instagram stories natin. You can participate by answering or tapping yung sagot. And also dun sa ating Team Laika account for the throwback questions and other important updates and announcements sa mga paparating nating mga events, or in this case, upcoming events natin. And of course, if you have TikTok, you can follow me din sa aking dalawang TikTok accounts. You have at Team Laika for the educational videos, math, English videos, at mga quick quizzes. We have so many of those right now. So, pwede nyo yung sagutan doon. Nandun din yung mga explainers. And at Laika Maravilla for the personal stuff. If you want to get to know me on a more personal level, that's where you can go. Nandun din yung mga motivational videos, tips, advice, public speaking tips, at iba pa. Alright? See you online.
Alright, I hope you learned something today. If you did, click thumbs up. Make sure that you share this video with your friends. Lalo kung mag-exam din sila. That way, mas marami tayong matutulungan. And as always, if you want to reach out to me directly, get the reviewers that I made, join the online or live review events, you can go to www.facebook.com/teamlaika. You can also help support this channel by being a channel member, rookie or MVP. Sa lahat ng mga nagsusupport na sa channel na ito, maraming salamat sa inyo. Thank you for keeping us afloat, especially in the hard months pagdating sa content creation. So sa lahat ng mga nakakakita ng mga names na may badges like these, please go and thank them for me. Sila yung tumutulong sa atin to, sabihin na natin, keep the lights on sa ginagawa natin ngayon. So salamat sa inyong lahat for helping me help so many other people through this channel. And as we always say, sa channel na to, never stop learning. Adja, kaya niyo yan. See you in the next video, and bye for now. And if you want to learn more, we have a video right here na you may be interested in. So, click nyo na lang yan. And you can also click here. Ito yung aking second channel, yung vlogging channel natin, where we get to know each other on a more personal level. So, para sa mga extra content, kahit mga BTS content natin, go ahead and check that out. Alright? See you soon.